my hope is that this will be a resource for you to encourage you if you are an entrepreneur already, or to encourage you if you are considering becoming an entrepreneur, or, you know, starting a business or whatever that may look like. So with that being said, I want you to do all the things that you're supposed to do when you watch a video. If you like a video, you like it, you share, you subscribe, you turn on the notification bells, you do all that stuff, all right? But seriously, if this resonates with you, please go ahead and do those things. And I really, really appreciate you already for taking this time to be able to hear what I'm saying. And let's jump into it. All right, y'all. So I say this every time that I'm excited about this conversation. It's weird how things work just in general, especially as being a business entrepreneur. There's always different opportunities that come your way as far as getting a chance to network or connect with a person. This guy today that I'm talking to, having a conversation with, I have actually known, practically all my life. But the wildest thing is that we got a little bit of an age difference. And
hold on, man. Hold on. Age, okay.
It's a little bit of age difference.
Don't put me out there like that, bro.
but you couldn't tell visually.
Yeah.
But this guy, so he's actually my brother's cousin, which he's a cousin to me as well. And so with that being said, you may not even know this, but the guy has been an inspiration, just kind of in general, within fitness. I'm giving it away already. But within fitness, business and all that, just likewise my brother also, or my brothers. And so with that being said, I'm super excited to be able to introduce you guys to none other than Ejay. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Dang, that was an introduction, bro.
Yeah.
That was real, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
I'm going to scoot your mic.
Yeah, that's been a long time. I think maybe a 10-year difference, maybe?
No, not quite. I'm 36.
Okay.
So, yeah, we ain't that far.
Ain't that far. Okay,
yeah.
But it seems crazy growing up and, seeing somebody that you knew from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And still thriving,
yeah.
man. So that's a big deal, man. But I'm glad to be here, man, and appreciate the invitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the thing. I want to know, I started this podcast to do a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, bring value to people who are just starting as an entrepreneur or maybe thinking about it, but also to be able to bring highlights to the local entrepreneur, platform as a whole.
Right.
So with that being said, if you can, just let us know a bit of what it is that you do and, go from there, how you started.
Man, it's crazy because growing up, it was always kind of like hustling to kind of get started, get something off the ground. So it started from doing lawn services, pushing a lawnmower up the street, raking leaves, picking up trash. I think over the past 20 plus years, I've probably had about 20 different businesses or concepts that I started.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
But what I'm in currently and have been for the past 15 years is the fitness industry. That's something that kind of, they say do what's easy and multiply it, right? And it's been around and I try to shake it and I wanted to do something different because I didn't really respect how important it was to be healthy. Once you understand that, it's like, oh, I have a different value and appreciation for it now.
Yeah.
So I've been in fitness for about 15 years and I started iRise's iRise's Health and Wellness, like kind of at my lowest moment. Like I just left the corporate gym and I wanted to do my own thing. I got passed over on positions and opportunities that I felt like that I was capable of and worth.
Yeah.
And I said, screw it, I'm gonna start my own thing, right?
Yeah.
So in hindsight, it's better to have a plan versus just, acting on your emotions. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did because I've been, like I said, 15 years and I watched the industry change. I watched how people value their health more so now than they did ever before. And something that it's a conversation. It's a culture now.
Yeah.
It's not just, exercise anymore. People are doing it. They're hanging out afterwards. They're fellowshipping.
Yeah.
networking, hanging out. Like it's a whole vibe now. So it's cool. It's a cool spot right now.
Yeah. So something that you said that kind of stuck out to me is that you said in hindsight it would have having a plan and all that would have been cool, but I cannot help but think that sometimes in some situations, had you had a plan, you know what I mean, like
Right.
and knew like the pitfalls or like the you know what I mean, the shortcomings in it, would you have actually still done it?
That's the thing, because like I said, growing up in it, like my uncles, my mom's brother, all of them worked out, and
Okay.
you don't really understand how important that connection is. Like you see it, but you don't really understand. Like, oh, that's kind of molded me to where I am currently, because I seen them work out, I see them have routines, I see them eat good, I see them get strong, I see them get big, and you don't really think about it until like I'm at that position now, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see, like, okay, I'm a big onk now. I'm the big dog now, but it's only because I've seen it.
Yeah.
I had an example for that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stands out because you can now see, okay, those memories, those moments shape people's lives.
Yeah. It's wild looking at, so you said 15 years in the fitness industry. Man, I don't, to me, like, not to even make it just super deep, but it's almost kind of a divine thing, the fact that you got in before it was extremely cool, or as cool as it is now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to some degree, because it's like, I think at that time, you may not necessarily even realize that,
Not at all.
it was going to be what it is now.
Not at all.
Literally everybody wants to be involved in fitness in some capacity.
Some capacity, because it's not, they say the word fitness, I think it's like a term, and we need another term for it, because it's like, how you do anything is how you do everything. And Ejay Johnson said that it's like the way you take care of your body, you take care of your business and your family, and et cetera. And all those things go together and have parallels. And it's just a different mindset. It's a lifestyle, but it all goes together.
Yeah, which is crazy. Wow. And I don't know if they should do some type of statistic on entrepreneurship and people that's in shape. But I'm telling you, there is an absolute parallel to like what I do at the gym, and that thing that constantly keeps me, going, building and stuff, and just consistent on it, that actually helps to influence what I do in business.
Right.
Like, it actually helps to inspire and encourage that. What's something that you feel like you could actually hand over to the person? And I say, just from a fitness standpoint, or weightlifting or whatever that may be, first, what's something that you feel like is almost kind of just overlooked, that, you know what I mean? A lot of people, because every man I know want to get big.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every man want to get big. Every man want to, have the muscles and stuff like that. But what's something that you believe that is overlooked within that?
Male or female, I think the biggest thing is consistency. Like, you know, I grew up, I was 140 pounds, you know, but I always aspired to be, like, I want to be bigger, I want to be stronger. But the only way that you can really do that, the best way is gradual, over time. The power of 1%. You get 1% better every day for 365 days.
Wow.
It's better than staying the same or declining. So if I knew that all I had to do was add 5 pounds a month for 12 months, how many pounds is that?
Wow.
It's 60 pounds.
Yeah.
So I can go I can bench 135, and then in a year I can do 195. Next year I can do 255. I can keep going. To where ultimately, of course, you hit a plateau eventually. But I'm able to do a lot more now from a rep standpoint and weight standpoint than I did when I was 20. Because my goal was, okay, I seen it 5 pounds at a time.
Bro, that's a nugget. Because essentially, that ties directly into like entrepreneurship. It's like this idea of, and that's kind of what I meant by, if you would have known, like, there's a certain amount of, I think, in an entrepreneur's mind, is that we almost a little bit crazy. as far as just like you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's this belief that like I can do it. And so because of that, all of the extra pitfalls, all of the hurdles that you may come across, it's like you want that thing so bad. And so it's like you know, you initially set out to get that, to accomplish that thing. But it's like as you move on, you start to realize like I really love this journey. So for instance, weightlifting.
Right.
There's nothing like it to me as far as just
Nothing.
like there's something about it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's just like, especially, you know, like you said, with that consistency, you start to see those results. It's like, oh
Exactly.
man, this is crazy. And so, but in entrepreneurship, I think is that same exact thing, you know, where it's like just consistent over time and not, you know, getting caught up in like, you know, oh man, I hit this roadblock or this happened or, you know, it must not be this and may not like, and it's all just that process of constantly adding on to, you know.
Yeah. So and that's the brilliant thing about it, because once you understand, bro, like it's just start and build.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just start and build.
Yeah.
You know, starting out young, you're like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be this millionaire, and I'm gonna be this, but you understand that some crazy statistic that 70% of millionaires over the age of they didn't get that way until like 60 something.
Yeah.
So then once like there ain't no cheat code, bro. Like you can't
Yeah.
buy a
Yeah.
better body, bro. You can buy some that may look,
Yeah.
but from a performance standpoint, you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
You can cheat, you can buy, you can do the same thing with stocks and try to do this thing and real fast and this hustle, and then, you know, hurry up and buy this fake coin and that. But ultimately, it's no way. You got to be in it for the long haul, bro.
Do it. Yeah.
You know,
Goodness.
it's a sprint, but it's a marathon at the same time.
Sheesh. So it's going hard, but being willing to go hard through a long period of time.
Long period of
So
time.
this is the thing, though. Obviously, not everybody is necessarily meant to be an entrepreneur in the sense of owning a business.
Right.
But I do believe that everybody benefits from having some ideas or even some thinking like an entrepreneur, just period, within any company. And I say that because I think a lot of it it's like there's that certain amount of creative and risk and, you know what I mean? And just that bit of like, man, I want to do something new. Like I want to solve another problem. So with that, what's one hurdle that you really came across within your early days? Because you got how many gyms locations?
Two
You
locations.
got 2 locations now. So what was your first gym? Like, what was that like, that process of like, all right, I'm going to go do this?
Well, it started out like, go back to that. I didn't even have a gym at first. I started doing corporate wellness. So I'm going to companies doing lunch and learns, workshops, boot camps, providing services to their employees and executives. And then that eventually spiraled into us renting out a place to do boot camps boot camps. And so rented a couple churches. We were doing boot camps there. And then that turned into, okay, we couldn't get in this day. They had some event at the church that we had to cancel or something. So I'm like, you know what, let me jump out there on a limb and, you know, open up my own facility. You know, and I had some clients of mine who was like, okay, man, we believe what you're doing. I lost 40 pounds. I got stronger. So I had clients of mine literally prepay for a whole year up front.
Wow.
And that's how I got started.
Yeah, man.
But the downside about that is I had no more income coming in. You know what I'm saying? So I can get 50, 60.
I can relate.
I can get 50, 60 grand and then be like,
I can relate.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I can relate.
That's it. But and I didn't have a budget or have a financing plan or any of that. I didn't have no support other than that right there.
Yeah.
But I got in the door, and had I had a budget of $200,000, $300,000 loan from the bank, I don't think I would have survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't think I would have.
Yeah. Goodness.
I mean, because even with COVID,
that's what I was gonna ask you.
People had resources and bank loans and all this stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
But I also ain't shut my doors either.
Got it out the mud.
They got it out the mud. So the doors, and they would come by and serve me some papers and say, you can't be open. Somebody would file a complaint. I said, I'm following the guidelines. The doors are open. I actually turned the gym into a charter school / daycare, because that was the only things that was essential
Yeah.
at the time. So when people came by, I'm like, hey man, they're contractors, and but you got to be able to ultimately bend, not break.
Man, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So the I don't know if there is a book on it, but I'd love to author a book or be a part of a book that's titled The Art of the Pivot.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially that's really all that it comes down to, is just being able to pivot and just finding a way to where it's like, oh my goodness, sorry y'all. But finding a way to where it's like, when you run into a situation like COVID, nobody knew that was going to happen. Nobody had a plan for it. And to see how devastating that was, I almost feel like, so initially I imagine that it was a huge hit to, that industry as a whole, just, as a whole.
Big, yeah.
But I imagine that the outcome of the residual result of everybody being locked in and couldn't go to the gym and stuff, I imagine that actually ended up just kind of bouncing back to some degree.
Yeah, so it kind of bounced back, but what was crazy, my business now currently involves where I kind of, at one point, I worked with adults during the day and kids throughout the evening, and that was kind of like, adults are like my biggest business because they actually paid. Kids don't have a job, so parents have to pay.
Yeah.
But during COVID, post-COVID, immediately after, that part of the business took off like crazy because they were cooped up in the house.
Yeah, man.
No activities. Now our kids are having recess 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes of what? PE once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Middle school is optional.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
So that grew like crazy. So that kind of helped put me over the top. But again, I never shut my doors. I had to survive, bro. You can't. If I shut my doors, then immediately it was like, okay, people went elsewhere. They bought some bikes at home, some stuff at home that they didn't use. And right now you can see this abundance of that on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was so I don't know if you knew this, but I wasn't blessed enough to own a gym at the time, and so when it hit, and I was already in the gym, I'm like, oh shoot, like, what am I gonna do? And so, of course I got on Marketplace, and I'm trying to, like, I started buying up all kinds of weight sets and all kinds of stuff. And bro, the price of weights at that time was 100% ridiculous. Like, it
doubled, if even tripled. But what was crazy for me, the best thing for me, and I laugh at this now because it's kind of like, it's like a blur, and people really don't talk about it, but I was renting weights out, barbells out, and I even sold stuff that I bought for 50, 60 cents a pound, and I was selling it for $3 a pound. You know what I'm saying?
So you was the reason.
I'm like, oh, y'all want to buy that?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. That's a genius idea, that rent out, bro.
Bro, listen, I was renting stuff out. I'm like,
that's genius.
Crazy, man. So instead of losing out completely, I was able to. Oh, it's crazy. So let me back up. Then our process, I just signed a lease to open up a spot in Corporate Woods.
Okay.
So it was
right around that time.
Same time.
Okay.
So I was supposed to open, and the next week they shut everything down.
Goodness.
So I was able to have that equipment. I took some of it. I moved during COVID at the same time.
Like, so you saying you moved gym or you?
So
moved?
I was opening up one in Corporate Woods.
Wow.
At my current facility, my lease was getting ready to expire.
Okay.
And I'm like, I gotta move because it's time for me because I had all this equipment. Like, I was considering the equipment. I didn't know what I was gonna do, so I moved to a newer, nicer location. Wow. Took some of that same equipment.
Yeah.
Put that equipment in this current facility, and I had my old facility as an indoor practice facility for kids and teams. So
yeah,
I was able to I really didn't lose anything during COVID, but I just made like you said, I made a pivot. Yeah. And I was able to have two incomes instead of one at the same time during COVID while I was selling equipment that I already had and renting it out.
See, that's another one of those things. So I mentioned getting into the industry 15 years ago. So I got into what I'm doing, video and all that stuff, before it was a cool thing.
Right.
And it paid off during COVID. So initially it's like, oh, shoot, I was getting calls. It's like, we got to cancel this, cancel that. And initially, I was actually, my wife and I, right before COVID happened, I'm like, all right, so for the next year, we're gonna focus just on like weddings. We're gonna hit weddings for a year. Um, and then COVID happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, nope, you need to stay where you are within. And because I was already in the corporate sector as
Mm-hmm.
far as doing corporate projects and some commercial, and so for me, it was like initially it's like, oh shoot, this is crazy. But the pivot in that, everybody needed an online presence all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden. So now everybody was going out to buy, cameras. Everybody was going out to, and now I think in hindsight, I wish that I would have put more emphasis on the training portion of it. Like I really wish that I would have doubled down and actually started to focus on like training people in,
Mm-hmm.
video and stuff like that. Because I think it would have been a bigger splash.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, COVID, I hate to say it, but COVID was great.
Mm-hmm.
A great time for us. We actually even ended up finally, getting in the house and all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of stuff, like out of coming out of COVID
Yeah.
because of COVID. And so not shout out to COVID,
Yeah.
but for everybody that suffered dearly. The whole point of that I'm saying in that is that it's like whatever it is that you do as a person, whatever it is that you into, and I say this to young people all the time, it's like, man, captivate that skill set. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
skill sets those are, make sure that you are constantly working on those things, like whatever that is, because at some point in time, your time will come for you to be able to utilize those abilities.
Yeah, and those abilities is kind of what makes you, because if you understand, like for instance, I was working out with some guys that were, they was fresh out, right? They were doing 225 on the bench, right?
Mm.
And I'm like, man, I want to do that, man. How can I do that? I wanted it so bad. And then after a while, I'm working out next to them because I want to be close to them, just kind of see what they were doing. I'm taking notes and stuff like that. And they was like, hey, little homie, you come work out with us? I'm like, made my day, bro. It's like my biggest moments of my life. It's a story that I tell all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got 225 off the bench, came down and got it halfway here and got stuck. And they left me there.
Mm.
That's how I felt during COVID, bro. Like I had no resources, really nothing to fall back on. And that 225 was resistance, right?
Yeah, man.
COVID was resistance.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you got to figure out a way to lift it.
Wow.
So I couldn't get it off of me. I couldn't lift it up.
Yeah.
So what I had to do, I had to roll it off of
down.
me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So I had to roll it down. So with that, it's like, okay, now I
Yeah.
went back to the drawing board. I said, okay, that happened. I got it here. Now what can I do? So I'm like, I went to the library. This when you go to the library back in the day. Buy some books and you look up stuff, or you look at some stuff at Arnold Schwarzenegger. There wasn't no YouTube. There wasn't no YouTube University or Instagram. You had to figure it out.
Nope.
And so I said my point, I got a trainer.
Mhm.
I got somebody showed me some stuff along with my uncles. And so I was able to put together something that worked great for me. Same thing with COVID. It's like, okay, it hit you. It came down on your chest. Don't mean it's over.
Yeah.
You don't have to fail. You can regroup.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Yeah.
You know, I went from doing nothing but barbell to like doing barbells and dumbbells.
Yeah.
And I was doing this bands. So I went from like, hey, not having a facility per se to doing outside boot camps. I was doing some online stuff. The same concept. Those parallels are the same.
Yeah. Goodness. So I'm almost hearing you talk. It's almost like I think one of the biggest things that, and this is actually, I mean, this should be the sign up point for any gym just in general, but anybody who is doing anything in life, even if you don't necessarily want to be an entrepreneur, but especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot afford to not get into fitness, get into working out, like 100%.
As an employer, they're not even, they want the healthy.
Yeah.
It costs them less money. At the end of the day, you got to follow the dollar, man. You know?
Dang. So is that a pitch there though? Like that? Hey, shout out to all employers. Hey, get you going and put that in an incentive and get all your employees a gym membership.
Healthy. So what they used to do that a lot, but now it's more so like, okay, we got them a membership. Now how can we take it a step further? And that's what we do. Kind of now it's like, okay, you got a membership. Now let's make sure they go twice a week.
Oh yeah.
Make sure they have a structured program. They sit down for 8 hours a day. Let's make sure they stretch 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
Let's make sure that they at least have the resources to have a meal plan or a guideline or some resource to text or call and that's kind of where we come in.
Okay.
And offer those services it's like, it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta ask this question just because you so happen to be I would say a OG now
Bro, listen.
in the fitness.
And that sounds crazy. But
And so the
I'm
thing is, so what's in that realm, what do you think is one of the most important? Now I know you're gonna talk about eating and stuff like that, but I guess for a person that do want to actually continue to build muscle, obviously we know, lifting and things like that. And I'll tell you my regimen, you tell me if I'm wrong or not. It seemed to be working.
Right.
But as far as like the eating goes,
right.
like what do you believe has been the biggest game changer as far as that go, nutrition and, weightlifting?
I always had this mindset that as a kid, right, what did we eat all the time? We ate junk food, we ate McDonald's, we didn't eat a lot of good stuff all the time, except when it was time for dinner for the most part. What has changed was the activity as an adult, right? You're less active now than you were as a kid.
Yeah.
Average adult currently right now takes about 4,000 steps per day. Average kid takes how many, you think?
Probably 10.
16,000.
Okay.
Approximately.
Oof.
Right. So
Yeah.
diet is important.
Yeah.
But your physical activity is equally as important. So don't say it's 80% diet, 20% working out. You need 100% of both.
Yeah.
It's not a 50-50 or 80-20 because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I think the sooner you understand that, you can understand that, okay, I need to have my diet in control because, again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I need to eat better. I need to eat whole foods. I need to eat clean stuff, stay away from processed stuff. And then my workouts have to be intentional as well.
Yeah.
There's no in between, no half and half. And just be aware of it because a lot of the food we buy, it's not the best. The best quality.
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw this on TikTok the other day that we got two different kind of ketchups out here. One ketchup we make for the U.S. and another one we make for Canada with less ingredients, less processed stuff. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
I never, you don't know that. Those things get ahead.
Yeah.
They add on. They make it harder for you.
Yeah. So this is the thing though, so as a viewer, I'm hearing them say, well, that's easy for you to say, Ejay, but I can't afford to go, you know what I mean? Or at least I assume that I can't afford to actually go eat better in order to actually,
You can. You got to eat for fuel, not just because I just want to eat just to be eating.
Yeah.
There's a difference. A bag of brown rice is $1. 10 pounds of chicken is, $10, $12.
Yeah.
Some veggies are the same. You're looking at it's actually less if you choose to do it.
Wow.
But you have to just have a different mindset.
Yeah.
And that's where your mindset, your exercise, your diet, your sleep and supplements kind of come into play. It's the med principle. I don't know if you heard of that, but I've been running with it for years. But it's the meditation mindset, exercise, diet, sleep, supplements.
Yeah.
So you follow those concepts. Did I get those in effectively today? And if you didn't, you'll know how you feel based upon what you did or didn't do. So it's important that you have that mindset because it's also, nutrition is one thing, exercise is one thing, but your mindset has to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Do it when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Do it when you feel like it.
Yeah.
Do it when it's snowing outside.
Yeah.
And when it's sunny outside. Yeah. So my answer to that, it's like a triple-double in basketball. You got to be able to have it all. Yeah. And it's important to have it all because if not, then you're going to have an unbalanced way of life.
Do you believe that everybody is capable of that?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like if you get to the point to where you all want a reward for something immediately, especially now, just don't look for the reward and just do it.
Yeah. Goodness.
You always see the cartoons and the horse and the carrot and the horses chase the carrot all the time, bro.
Yeah. That's the nugget. Chase the carrot all the time.